Let me ask you a question. When you see something like this, I'm sure that intimidates you and brings back horrible memories. Memories of attempting to sight read for a piano and it just never stuck, so you gave it up. Or even your past teacher hounding you because you weren't catching on fast enough. If you can relate to this, don't worry. I have something you're going to want to see. Now, before I begin, I want to let you know that you will receive a surprise in your email, but it won't show up right away. So you want to finish watching this video first. The following is a short performance of mine of a popular favorite, Rhapsody in Blue by George Gershwin. Of course, it was recorded on my phone. But there are quite a few powerful lessons I've learned in achieving this performance that I will share with you in this video. Believe it or not, even with this piece being amongst the most difficult known pieces in history, just a few years ago, I was struggling to sight read even beginner level songs. However, my performance holds quite a few secrets to mastering your piano playing and sight reading skills. In this video, I'm going to share with you how you can read without having to take forever to get through a song. This is your secret weapon to seamlessly reading through sheet music without having to use so much brain power in the actual process. One thing you must avoid doing if you want to be able to read sheet music like a pro is to stop calculating the notes as if they're individual notes. My step-by-step training and techniques will walk you through how sight reading really works, as well as be able to read the notes in layers, especially dealing with both hands. You'll also learn how to improve your rhythm, increase your speed, and expand your hand flexibility on piano. I mean, can you imagine never having to worry about guessing the wrong notes or taking forever to figure out what that one note is? Imagine what that would do for your musicianship. Now, before moving forward, it's key that you pay really close attention to what I'm going to share with you in this video. It could mean the difference between finally being able to read your favorite song without stopping or continuing to take forever to write those letters below each note, which I'm sure you're doing, and hoping you remember them as you go along. Because I'm going to be giving you not just one, as I mentioned before this video, but 3 essential secrets here that you'll be able to put into practice right away. Also, I can't promise how long this video will be available, so you'll want to watch it now. Alright, so let's begin. If you're like many of my students, perhaps you feel like you've tried everything under the sun when it comes to learning how to read music and play piano. And for one reason or another, you just can't seem to master your skills. You've likely been disappointed that no matter how much you try to sight read, you can't seem to figure it out. Well, by the end of this presentation, I'm going to share with you my tested and proven process to master your favorite songs on piano through sheet music. The truth is, I wasn't always a skilled teacher in the music world. I wasn't even a skilled musician. And we're talking about just a few years ago. As a matter of fact, back in 2011, when I was training in college, I was applying for many jobs as a piano instructor. There was one job interview I had scheduled, and I knew that I was going to knock it out of the park. I mean, I was in college for music, so I had nothing to worry about, right? Wrong. I walked into that job interview, and the interviewer placed a song in front of me that I had never seen, and it was a beginner's level piece. I literally froze, and I stumbled my way through the piece anyway, the best I could. I walked out of that interview completely embarrassed, and as I predicted, I ended up losing that job to someone else. As broken up as I was about it, that was the day I decided not to let my inabilities cripple me from my success, and it led me to step my game up. And not too long afterwards, I was in business for myself with over 30 of my own piano students. Quite a far cry from not being able to sight read, huh? Despite knowing what I know now, I can understand how frustrating it might be to feel like sight reading is outside of your reach. Luckily for me, through a lot of trial and error, I've developed a system that can dramatically improve your ability to read through music. This is a system I've used to master my own skill while cutting down my practice time. I want you to imagine for a second that you've taken heed to my words and you've taken massive action on what I'm going to ask you to do today. Picture in your mind being able to pick up any sheet music, especially songs you've always wanted to learn, and be able to sight read through without having all those notes scare you away. Now, I'll share all these strategies with you in a second, but first, I'm going to share with you some insider information. This is typically the root cause of the issues you face today. And if you're watching this presentation, it's not because you're looking for a shortcut or an easy button. More than likely, it's because you've tried your best and you're determined to overcome your inability to read and play piano, especially at the same time. Like many of my students, you've been conditioned to believe that it would take forever for you to learn how to read sheet music. However, this couldn't be further from the truth. I mean, it's great for private instructors you probably hired in the past because the longer it takes for you to get sight reading down, the longer they get to keep you as a student. Makes sense. However, it's absolutely defeating for the person who's actually trying to learn how to master piano and their reading skills. But it doesn't have to be this way. If you do, you'll more than likely continue to struggle with reading notes without learning them the right way. Luckily, as of today, you won't fall victim to this any longer, and by refusing to believe that learning to read sheet music takes years, you'll be that much closer to mastering your music. I mean, think about it. How amazing would it be to have access to the exact strategies, tips, and tactics that would virtually ensure your success and ultimately give you the ability to play any song you want? This is what I've done for myself, this is what I've done for my students, and this is what I can do for you. As promised, I want to share 3 strategies with you today. Strategies that will help you dramatically increase your speed, reduce your practice time, while still thoroughly mastering any song, and others. I've saved the best strategy for last, so you'll want to watch until the end. Alright, so let's jump right into strategy number 1. When you're trying to increase your speed in a song, the last thing you want to do is focus on speed first. Most people tend to get into the habit of skipping a lot of the techniques that can actually help you increase your speed, and they jump right into speeding, and that will really cripple you in the long run. The secret weapon to mastering speed is to focus first on relaxing your fingers. I mean, think about it. When you're playing at a fast speed, imagine how much work it would take to use a bunch of muscle to maintain that speed. You'll end up wearing yourself out before the song even finishes. Because relaxing your fingers is counterintuitive to our natural desire to use muscle, you'll want to start out at a very slow speed first, so you can focus solely on relaxing your fingers for a while until it becomes a habit. You can check your relaxation by considering the following. First, your fingers should feel like they're tapping or tickling the notes, as opposed to poking or using force. It almost feels like you're using gravity to pull your fingers down to the note. Also, you'll want to keep your fingers naturally curved so your knuckles won't buckle inwards towards your hand when you're playing. This will give your fingers the support they need to press and relax. Also, check the looseness of your wrists as you're playing. Are they tense? If they are, lightly move them up and down as you're playing. This will automatically kick your brain into relaxed mode, and you'll need to snapshot that feeling. Once you master relaxing at a slow speed, increase the speed just a little, and practice the same relaxation methods used above, and keep doing the same process until you're at the desired speed. You'll know you've done it right when your fingers feel like they're floating as opposed to gripping. Relaxing your fingers will give you the flexibility and longevity you need for faster playing. Now, strategy number 2 will deal with how you can drastically reduce your practice time, while at the same time master whatever it is that you're learning. Have you ever found yourself spending hours on a song that you know should have been finished earlier? Well, this strategy is for you. When you're working on a song, pay close attention to the trouble spots. You know, those areas of a song that you seem to have trouble getting down. For those trouble spots, you want to use what's called isolation. Isolation is when you zero in on that one spot, you isolate it by bringing that one spot down to a slow tempo that you can play without stopping, and you repeat that one segment a few times at a slow speed. Once you've done that, you slowly increase the speed and repeat the segment a few more times. You slowly increase the speed again and repeat that same process until you've gotten that part up to speed with the rest of the song. This is important because it saves you from spending time having to run through the entire song just to work on one little part, ultimately over-practicing everything else and under-practicing what really needs to be worked on. And finally, strategy number 3. I'm going to walk you through just a few short sight reading exercises. Let's examine this first exercise below. If you don't know how to locate the notes on sheet music yet, that's fine. You can still follow along with my point. When you're reading sheet music, you really have to read less by individual notes, as I mentioned above, and read more by patterns. The keys on the piano are named by letters from A to G, and each note on sheet music is assigned to a specific key on the piano. Basically put, if you see a note on paper, you have to play that note on keys. The very first note in this exercise is C. The notes on paper will appear on either a line or a space, and that's what you need to focus on. If you play the keys in step-by-step motion, say C, D, and E, the notes that match on paper would appear in a line, space, line motion, and so on. To calculate each of these notes would take forever, so what you want to do is focus on 2 things. Number 1, the directions in which the notes are going, and 2, how far the notes are from each other. In this exercise, I've made it very easy. Each note is only 1 step from the previous note, so all you have to focus on is note direction. Now, when you look at the second note after C, it is the very space above C, which means it's D. When you see that, you would play the note higher than C on the keys, the white key, and you would run into D. The point that I'm making with this exercise is when examining the note, you don't want to wreck your brain trying to think of the letter. You want to think of the note direction. So instead of thinking D, you're thinking up. The third note after D returns a step down, which means you've returned to C again. So when you're reading this entire exercise, you can either think C, D, E, F, E, D, and so on, or you can think in a much simpler pattern. C, up, down, up, down, down, and so on. This next exercise applies note direction as well, but now you have the notes that are further away from each other. The first note, again, is C, but notice the next note skipped that D space and went straight to the next line above C, which is E. This is called a skip, or third. When you see the note C go to E on paper, you would play C, then skip D and play E as the next note. You would think that you would have to calculate your way through this one. However, the good news is every skip is identical, no matter where they are on the sheet music. Steps, as I mentioned before, appear in a line space motion or vice versa. In skips, however, the notes will either fall on neighboring lines, meaning from one line to another line, as seen between C and E, or they will both appear on neighboring spaces, as you see in the next measure between D and F. The more you see skips and steps, you'll be able to differentiate between them, and again, you'll be thinking less about reading individual notes, and you'll be reading more in the forms of steps and skips and other patterns. The final exercise includes both the left and right hand at the same time. The application of steps and skips and note direction apply here as well. You'll notice for the left hand part at the bottom, there are notes that are stacked on top of each other. This indicates that these notes are to be played at the same time. One finger plays one note, another finger plays another note. These simultaneous notes are actually the same skips and steps you've seen in the previous exercise, except the 2 notes are just played together. The first pair of notes you see in the left hand is called a third, which is really a skip between 2 notes being played at the same time. Notice the space distance? If you look at the rest of the exercise for the left hand, you'll notice that this third is repeated multiple times. All you have to do is play that third as you did the first time. The second pair of notes at the left hand is called a second, which is a step between the 2 notes being played at the same time. Notice the line-space relationship. This pair is also repeated throughout this exercise. So basically, once you know how to play just those 2 pairs of notes, called intervals, you figured out how to play the left hand for the rest of the exercise. The right hand, in this case, plays 1 note at a time, with the same steps and skip patterns that you've seen in the previous exercises. Whenever you see the right hand note directly over a left hand note or interval, that means the right hand and left hand have to play the notes at the same time. Notice I didn't mention any letter notes in this exercise for the left hand, just patterns, just to prove my point. Just to give you a heads up to ease your mind, during your learning process, you will understand that the process of sight reading is exactly the same process as regular reading. Just like you learn to memorize the letters in the alphabet, you learn the notes on sheet music the same way. Sounding out parts of a word using those same letters is the same thing as picking up patterns in sight reading, such as note direction and note distance I mentioned above. Then, when you start putting full words together, it's exactly the same as identifying and playing the intervals, chords, and other groups of notes in a piece. Eventually, you will have seen all the same words so many times, you won't even have to think so much about figuring them out. Just like words are consistent in that manner, intervals and chords and notes in music are also consistent. So the more you see them, the easier it is to recognize and read them. I think you'll agree that you can find a massive amount of value inside this presentation, but you may also feel very overwhelmed by it all, which is totally understandable. In the next few minutes, I'm going to share exactly how my students have catapulted through their sight reading skills without fail. Hi, I'm Ayana Webb. I'm a piano instructor who has received my bachelor's degree in music from Rutgers University. I also run a blog that educates students and musicians on building their skills and their career in the music industry. Over the past few years, I've taught well over 60 private students. I'm also the creator of my full online piano course for beginners, the only process that gives you the breakdown of piano and sight reading by way of patterns versus individual letters, even though you'll learn those as well. I invite you to take a few minutes to check it out for yourself. What I've done is make my course as easy to implement as possible. This course includes some of my most comprehensive material on learning how to read sheet music. So, if you really want to increase your speed, improve your flexibility, and improve your rhythm, and best of all, learn how to sight read a lot faster, then I truly believe you've found what you're looking for. My full online piano course for beginners has been tested and proven to work. If you're looking to experience these results for yourself, then my course is definitely for you. You also might imagine that my course has been cleverly designed with you in mind. You'll get over 3.5 hours worth of downloadable video tutorials, numerous sheet music and rhythm exercises to help you build your sight reading skills, quizzes to help you comprehend the material before moving forward, scales that will help you navigate through the keyboard and improve your hand motor skills, songs that start you from reading each hand separate to learning to read with both hands together, and much more. And this step-by-step system can work for you, even if this is your very first time learning piano, if you've had lessons many times in the past but failed, if you believe you're too old to learn, which I don't believe you're ever too old to learn, if you believe that you need college-level education to learn to read sheet music, which you do not, if you believe you don't have the proper motor skills to learn piano, which you'll actually even learn in this course as well, or even if you believe you're a slow learner and think it will take forever for you to learn how to sight read. My online piano course is a program that may not be suitable for those who want to just jump to learning songs. My course is a system that trains you to recognize consistent patterns in sheet music over time, which will ultimately allow you to read faster. This is a direct result of years of study and years of digging through the trenches to find out what really works. Now, the best thing about this system is that you can use it at your own pace. You can also subscribe to my weekly course follow-ups to make sure that you stay on track with completing the entire course. People of all ages and all skill levels have used my course to get great results. Here are just a few testimonials from those who have already taken the course and have given me feedback about their experience. Now, if you're looking for the easiest way to play your favorite songs by reading, my online course is your answer. Now, you may be thinking, I bet any system that can give me all of that would cost a small fortune. And, well, in all honesty, it really should. I'll get to how much it costs in a second, but let me explain. I have already helped other countless students in the industry reach their goal. My system has been proven to work, and for good reason too. My online course is the only course on the market that includes video tutorials with the sight reading and rhythm exercises that walk you through them, teaches you how to proficiently read and play with both hands at the same time, to the point where you can pick up almost any song of your choice and apply the same principles. And you get quizzes to help you improve your music theory, terminology, and lingo. I mean, think about it for a moment. By simply following the strategies inside of my course, you could go from taking forever to calculate each note in a song and hoping it sticks, or finally being able to read all your favorite songs without stopping. You'll start to improve your speed and flexibility without causing physical harm to your hands. You'll be able to run through almost any song and be able to impress your family and friends by being able to pick up songs quickly and play them. Now, this course could easily be sold for $200. I mean, wouldn't you agree that discovering the secrets to sight reading any song with ease would be well worth much more than that, especially if you compare that to weekly one-on-one lessons with a private instructor? But don't worry, you won't pay anywhere near that price today. I invite you to take a look inside of my course and see why everyone's calling it their go-to resource. In section 5 of the course, I will walk you through how you'll be able to sight read with both hands together by giving you a video bird's eye view tutorial on a both-handed song. Now let me explain. During the first 3 sections of the course, you will learn the basics from the ground up, including learning the keys on the keyboard, learning how to play your first scale up to both hands together. You will learn how to find notes on both the treble and bass clef, accompanied by sight reading exercises. You will learn about different rhythm notes, which also have their own exercises, and you will get a walkthrough with learning your first 3 songs of the course. In sections 4 through 6, you will be introduced to intervals, steps and skips, how to recognize them in sheet music, along with exercises and songs with these intervals. You will get to learn your first 2 songs with both hands together, and you will learn about the black keys, which are called accidentals. In sections 7 through 9, I will dive into some music theory lingo, such as names of dynamics, names of different articulation, and names of speeds. You will also learn about bigger intervals, accompanied by songs with those intervals, and you will learn a second scale. In sections 10 through 14, you will learn about all the key signatures which help you play songs in different keys. You will learn your first song in a key besides C. You will receive the full list of intervals and their breakdown. You will learn the difference between major and minor, and of course, you will learn more songs. Now, if you're looking for the most efficient way to sight read and play piano, then you've probably already figured out that my online course is not just an answer, it is your answer. The price of my full online piano course, sold by itself, is 2 monthly payments of $55, or you can choose to buy the course outright for $99. However, you won't just be getting the course by itself today. Just for watching this entire presentation today, I'd like to give 2 bonuses if you take action right now. Bonus number 1 includes an extra 24 sight reading exercises. You're going to discover how to thoroughly sight read from the ground up. This includes beginning exercises with separate hands, and it goes all the way up to exercises with both hands together, including all the intervals learned throughout the course. It's normally valued at an extra $5, but it'll be yours free today. And to accompany the exercises, I'll add an extra bonus of a downloadable video tutorial that walks you through the first 6 of those 24 exercises to get you started. Now, this would add another $10 value. Again, yours free. My full online piano course has a retail value of $200, and that's excluding all the bonuses. Now, when you add the bonuses, the entire system is valued at $215. Yet, that's not the price I have for you today. Listen, you could just walk away now and use the notes that I've given you today and try to figure out the rest on your own and end up spending hundreds of dollars on private instruction, or worse, you could ultimately end up getting so frustrated with sight reading on your own that you end up giving up altogether. Listen, this is not what I desire for you, and I know it's not what you desire for yourself. This means you won't pay $215. Your total investment today, including everything you see on screen, is either 2 monthly payments of $55 or a one-time payment of $99. And the best part is, you are protected by my course guarantee, so there is no way you can lose. So here's my promise to you. If you go through the course and honestly feel like I've wasted your time and you weren't able to find any value, I will happily issue you a refund within 30 days of purchase. I want you to look below this video right now. There are 2 buttons that say Get Started Now. The first button you can use to choose the one-time fee of $99, and the second you can use for the 2 monthly payments of $55. Click on either button and lock in your special rate today. Plus, if you act now before this presentation ends, I will give you access to a special limited time bonus worth another $70 for free. This is a one-time only deal, so you don't want to miss out. Order now and receive what I like to call the Power Proficiency Packet, absolutely free. This is your secret to proficiently playing piano. This includes an additional 23 exercises on top of the ones I mentioned earlier that specifically help you work on improving your rhythm and increasing your speed, and another hour of video tutorials that not only walk you through some of those extra exercises, but will also give you exercises that will help you build finger strength, finger flexibility, and finger independence. This Power Proficiency packet, together with my other two bonuses mentioned earlier and my full online course, will surely help you break through the barriers that have been holding you back from playing piano and sight reading like you've always wanted to. Add it all together and the value is quite overwhelming, over $285, and even at that price, this is a total bargain. However, just by clicking one of the rectangular buttons below that say Get Started Now, right now, you'll get the system for just $55 a month for 2 months or a one-time fee of $99. Once you choose your button below, you will be taken to a page where you will be asked to create an account. You will use this account to access your course, your bonuses, as well as keep track of your progress. Once you fill out your information, you press Create an Account, and then you'll be taken to my 100% secure checkout page. Once you secure your purchase, an entire course and all the bonuses will be instantly accessible to you by simply signing into your account. Remember, you've been struggling to pick your way through music notes on your own for too long. Yet, simply by choosing to take action today and following the strategies taught in my online course, everything will surely change for the better. How will it feel when you can finally pick up all the songs you wanted to learn and read through them without struggling and get to master them? You're free, at peace, knowing that you can choose to read any song with confidence without having to worry about whether or not you'll know the notes. To do all I can to help, I've lowered the price of my online piano course for you by 65%, just so you can get in today. But eventually I'm going to have to increase that price back to retail, where it deserves to be. So you must act now before I have to do that. Maybe today, tomorrow, or in a few weeks. Take advantage of this limited time offer while you still can. Click the rectangular shaped button below that says Get Started Now, and let's get you started right away.